Good evening, everyone. It's great to see everyone. My name's Keith Henry. I'm the president of the BC Métis Federation. I'm coming to you live at this time. It's currently Thursday evening here on April 24th. Incredible that we're already into almost the end of April. It feels like time is going so fast. I know it feels like, or it probably looks like there's a massive glow behind me. We're at that time of year here in Vancouver, where I'm joining you from, where the sun sets quite late and it's already changing, and it adds a lot of sunlight behind. So there's nothing I can do in relation to where my office is. But just coming to you live from the BC Métis Federation office on Kingsway. So just want to say good evening to everyone, and I want to welcome our friends and everyone online. I'll just monitor comments if anything has any questions. But I want to thank, we've got some our friends back this month. I missed our band from Terrace, British Columbia. Renee, good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Great. And I noticed you got a new guitar player. Did you have to sign a big
Yes.
contract to get her in?
No, that's Helen. She's always happy to come and join us, give us a hand when we need it.
Yep.
Thank you. No
Like,
problem.
and I see you're flanked by your other your steady bass player, Sean. Good to see you again this evening, Sean.
Yeah, always keeping the bottom together.
Yeah, that's right. Well, thanks, you guys. We're really happy to have you back. Let's start with some good old Métis fiddle music or a song. Renee, why don't you start us off with one to get the show in the right footing? What are you going to play for us first?
What I'm going to play is our friend in Fort Nelson, Eric Ashnow. Now, we met him last year, and I believe he wrote a song called Eric's Two Step. I'll see if I could do any justice on it.
Perfect. Great job, Renee, and everyone, and Helen, and of course Sean. I thought you did the song great justice, Renee. You did well.
Thank you.
Well, listen, that's a great way to start the show this month. I mean, we all know it's a really important time right now. There is a federal election that ultimately many people have already gone to the advanced polls. I mean, that I'm sure many people have watched the media, but I mean, advanced polls were open earlier this week, and over the 3 days, there was a 25% increase in overall advanced ballots cast. So that who knows if that means more Canadians exercise their democratic right. On Monday is the Canadian election. Obviously, most of us know that. As a Métis organization, we continue to try and understand which of the major parties are going to be helpful to our Métis needs and concerns. I haven't seen a lot of Indigenous issues through any of the platforms. It doesn't mean that we're not important, but I just personally still struggling to connect with the right platform that's going to help Métis causes in addition to everyday life. But just maybe on the ground up in Terrace, British Columbia, is there a lot of interest in the election? What are you guys hearing on the ground up there? Maybe I'll start with you, Renee.
Well, in Terrace here, it's I met Ellis Ross couple of times, and he seems to be a person that would speak for us a bit. So I think he would be the person that I would vote for.
Which party? I know that a lot of people here may or may not know who Ellis is. So
He's running
where's
for Conservative.
Conservatives up there? So is
Yeah.
that I know that the Northern British Columbia riding, it's often sometimes it sort of goes between, it seems to me historically it's been NDP for quite some time, but it has gone back and forth with Conservative and NDP over the years. So do you think that we're going to see more of a Conservative potential victory up in that area this year or no?
Well, I was hoping to. He right now he seems to, what I noticed anyway, he's been moving along, talking to a lot of people I have, and it seems like he's the one that I hope. I mean, that he's going to win.
Yeah. How about Helen? I'm not. You don't have to say which party you're gonna vote for. I mean, Renee
I
spilled the
haven't
beans right
voted
away,
yet, and I
but
don't know who I'm going to vote for. Because
yeah,
every time you turn around, there's something different. You get a different story and you know, and you just get so confused. You think, God, should I even bother voting? But I just go there and make sure that my name's ticked.
yeah.
So that way they can't come back to me and say, you didn't vote.
Well, I'm glad you said that because my message to all the Métis members that are watching and partners, whoever's watching, get out and vote. I'm not here to tell you which party, but get out and vote
No.
because that's a right that we fought for with our like our whether it's our military in the past. That's the whole point of democracy, and it doesn't work if we don't exercise it, and you shouldn't complain if you don't vote. So my message to everyone is get out and vote, and if you're not sure, just think about it over the weekend, make sure you think carefully and look at the platforms, right? So I'm glad you're voting, and I think that's great. How about Sean, I know you're always been a contributor. What's your sort of thoughts around the election? Do you think is there much interest up there in your opinion?
It's been been a short time since they called the election, and but we have strong candidates here.
Yeah.
As Rennie's talked about, Ellis Ross, and the incumbent, the NDP's incumbent, so he's still a strong candidate. So I'm like Helen, it's hard to decide, and we'll have to wait till the final day and make up our minds and mark the ballots. But
Yeah.
certainly there's a lot more interest than there has been in the past.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging to see more people involved in intending to vote.
Yeah. Do you think the interest is because of the tariffs or just because of the state of the country? Like, what do you think's driving interest? Or just people think it's going to be close, or what? Is there any
Well,
one thing, or
There's been so much controversy since January, with Trudeau leaving and Trump coming in and tariffs and
Oh,
ups
there you
and
go.
downs and stock market and you name it, everything's on the go. So it certainly it does get people's interest and they get involved and they think about it and they talk about it, and it's encouraging to see the democracy in action, even though it's a difficult time for us all.
I feel the same as you. It's been one thing I'm hoping, like, because Canadians in terms of democratic participation have been quite low. Like our last election, 62% of eligible voters voted, and I think that's too low. Like for a country, like we should be 80% plus. We used to be, I don't know if people know that, but a few decades ago, we were 82, 84% on average, and now we're down to, we were 58 and then 62. It's trending in the wrong direction, unfortunately. So I just said everyone get out and vote. So if nothing else, at least, like it or not, like that's your chance to have your say, right? Roseanne, I know you're there and in behind. I know people can't see you online, but you have any sort of final thoughts on the democracy or the election, or like, have you voted yet? Just curious. You don't have to tell me who you voted for, but have you voted yet yourself personally?
I'm of the opinion it's time for a change. We're in an area where our people need to work, and with the pipelines and what have you coming in, I can't see why our First Nations and Indigenous people, our Métis people, shouldn't have a shot at that. And the way things are going, I feel like it won't happen if we continue on. So it's time for a change, and I think Ellis is the man to do that job. So I actually am hoping that we'll end up with more of a balanced government this year, because I think it's not been balanced for quite some time.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Roseanne. And I think that I'm not here to say, like I said to everyone, what my message to anyone watching that follows Métis Coffee Talk or is a member of the Federation or just general public person watching, please vote. Like it doesn't, I'm not like, I don't care if you're green, uh, Bloc Québécois, which we don't have a candidate here in many of our ridings here, but I'm saying the point is vote, right? And I think that's really, 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 and I think, I seriously not sure what's going to happen. It's one of the few times in the elections I've seen in this country, like many of us, we've all been following politics, especially because of my roles for the last 20 years. And I have to say, this is one election. I know what I see on the national polls, but I don't see that in the networks I've got. I'm seeing a very, very much closer. So I'm not surprised. I don't know if people are following the polls, but as of today, it's, plus or minus 3 to 4%. And, and I do want to thank our vice president. I want to just share with everyone, it's not like we're not trying to understand the different party platforms. And many of you may have seen on our social media or our post earlier today. Our vice president, Earl Belcourt, with his wife, was met with Mark Carney on the island as well. So we're trying to do our best at the Federation just to find out really what, if it's a liberal government, what would that mean? If it's a conservative government, what will that mean? Like I shared with you last month, we met with the conservative representatives in Ottawa last month. I've met with Mr. Singh and the NDP. I've had discussion with Elizabeth May and the Green Party in the past. So just trying to understand, like, what are they, and it's hard because unfortunately, the platforms haven't been that clear on Métis issues, in my opinion. So I think it's just something we've got to continue to work for, make sure that the roughly 340 ridings have candidates that are aware of regardless of what party, like how are they going to do. And I just want to say, for me, watching what's happening up in your area, I think Ellis Ross is a First Nation individual, which is interesting that he's running with the Conservative Party because he believes in a lot of the economy, particularly. I know I've talked with Ellis myself in the past, so we'll see what happens. And I know there's people watching tonight, and everyone's going to have. But if you haven't voted, get out and vote Monday. Like that is the 28th, and then we'll just see what happens. And I commit to our members and our partners watching tonight. Whoever gets elected, we will try our best to work with, as we always have. So thanks again to Earl Belcourt, our vice president, for meeting with Mr. Carney yesterday. And thank you to you guys for sharing a bit of thoughts. But again, call to action, get out and vote Monday, okay? All right, let's go back to some music. Do you think we can get you in for one more song before we jump into some other ideas and information?
Okay, I was going to play Crystal Two-Step on D.
Well, thanks, guys. Very, very, very appreciated that, and obviously a great song, and thanks for that music. I'm going to jump, though, just if you don't mind, I'm going to jump right into. There's a number of stories and items, and of course, information to share with everyone online tonight. So I just want to jump right into that. some of you may have seen at the Federation, we put out a letter this week, just away from the federal politics for a minute, but, K to 12 education is a provincial mandate. There's, roughly 60 school districts in British Columbia. And we at the Federation, our leadership, we had approved a letter a little bit ago, but we waited to send the letter till we had some more facts. But we are calling on Premier Eby and his Minister of Education and Childcare, Honorable Lisa Bear, to start understanding our frustration as leaders. And there's many different communities, but as the Federation leadership, about the lack of cultural education for Métis students across British Columbia. We represent a number of Métis students in the K to 12 system. I've talked about our concerns on a regular basis on this show. But again, there's been a number of Indigenous education committees set up in these school districts. All the students that tick off that they're First Nation, Métis, or Inuit, or Indigenous in some case in some of the school districts, the school district gets additional public funds of over $1,700 per individual, and very little of that money is getting to Métis cultural education. At some point we have to stand up and ask the province to do better and have more public accountability. So what does that mean? Why is this an issue? It's an issue because, first of all, there's a couple points I want to raise. One, our concern is that we're not seeing the survival of our Michif language and our culture being shared respectfully. There are many of our Métis students in the system that feel invisible or being, supported with First Nation education, which is, we're not against that, but that's not who they are. And so they shouldn't feel like they have to be indoctrinated into a local First Nation community to have Indigenous support. So it's a very big concern for us. The other, though, if you look at the number of Métis students estimated in the province that have registered, this is not a small public investment. It's about 37 million plus in the province, we estimate right now. We don't have the exact number. We just got estimates because we don't represent all the Métis individuals in the country, or in the province, pardon me. But we know that if according to stats, according to our membership, according to what we estimate, it's about several thousand students times 1,700 plus. Anyways, if you look on our website, the letter is very clear on what we're asking for. We're asking for a clarification on what the province is doing to support Indigenous education funding for Métis students. And, we're not here to create significant problems by any means, but I think we do need to address this very concerning public issue. So I say to everyone tonight, we're going to continue to advance this issue. We're going to continue to call on our concerns with the province, and we hope we get an answer. We hope that they don't just bury this letter, which they may, and that's up to them. But we will absolutely continue to address this in a very public way, because 37 million of public funds should not only concern Métis people who pay taxes, it should concern all of British Columbians that pay taxes. So I think that's just an ongoing issue we're going to raise. We also recently shared a bit about more of some of the 2024-2025's Greg Mazur scholarship recipients. I do want to thank the family of Greg Mazur. They contributed to this fund. I want to thank the leadership of the BC Métis Federation. And these are the images of a number of the students here. And, we're just so proud of these young men and women trying to advance their education, trying to get support, trying to survive. The cost of living, costs are going up constantly. And these are things that will just continue. So if you go on our website, there's a much more detailed story on that. And I encourage you to take a look at that and just see. And let's just, I know some of the students on here are connected to some of you watching tonight. And we just want everyone to know we're very proud of all of them. And we want to continue to see these individuals. And I want to thank the Federation leadership, because me as president, it's not exclusively my decision whatsoever. We have our provincial elected board. They set aside an approved budget, and our team executes according to the budget. And so this money is not paid for by government. This is totally fundraised. The family contributed this last year about $2,000. We contribute about another 50,000 or so, and we have up to $1,500 or so dollars per scholarship. So we do what little we can to help each of these individuals try and ensure another step towards their success. So congratulations to all of them. I also want to, I know Renee, you're here tonight. I want to congratulate the first graduates of the Michif Language Revitalization Program. I know that I was able to take part in in a very wonderful ceremony not all that long ago. At the end of basically at the end of March, after we did the last show. But Renee, can I just maybe get you to say a few words about the Michif language, like the bit about the graduates and how you felt being part of that?
Oh, that was no, that was fun. These people were really interested in learning our Michif language, and I'm hoping that it'll continue again the next year and even the third year, because they're the one that's going to be taking our place anyway down the road.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you and Jeannie and our director of Michif Language. Some of the names of the individuals, again, there was Amy. Sorry, I know Roseanne is there. Amy.
There was Roseanne, Amy, Bernie, Lindsay, and Jeannie.
Perfect. Well, we're very proud of those graduates. It's another small step towards maintaining particularly the Michif French dialect of the Michif language. And just thank you, Renee, for the work you guys are doing, and thanks, Roseanne, for your time to continue to build and save our culture. We can't be a people without a language. And I think that's so important. Roseanne, any thoughts you want to like? How was it for you to graduate on the initial, I guess, graduation piece of the Michif Language Revitalization Program?
Wasn't easy. I have a problem with those R's, but it was very informative. I enjoyed the time spent with Rennie. I learned a lot of things along the way, not just the language. And I'm looking forward to being able to continue it. So I can pass it on to my grandchildren and so on and so forth. I thank Rennie and Jeannie exponentially for all the hard
Yeah.
work they put into doing this for us, and I really enjoyed the working together with the other participants.
So we say good evening. So how do you say good evening there, graduate?
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Okay. Did you get that right, Renee?
He did so, yes. Bonsoir, yeah.
Well, we taught her good, I guess, eh? I'm just kidding. I'm so happy. But which leads me to the second piece. I'm so thankful to the work of Jeannie and Renee, the work you continue to help on the back end. We're really, yes, we have the individual apprenticeship program, like the graduates we just talked about. But I hope all of you saw, I don't know if you've gone and you've downloaded off the App Store or Google Play. We have a Learn Michif mobile language app now. All of the French Michif dialect is there. Apprendre Michif, Learn Michif, right? I downloaded it as soon as it was available. This has been out a little bit now, but we haven't been pushing it hard. And this weekend we've got a meeting with the community leaders here that I'll talk about at the end. But it's such a helpful tool. I tell everyone, make sure you download the app. You can get it right off the App Store. I just feel very proud of the work you guys have done, and to see that in mainstream sort of technology. And we're not just teaching the language and creating an online glossary. It's actually stuff you can just grab on an app. And if I'm a younger person, particularly, I can just look at the app and just ask how to say things. Have you had much time on the app, Renee?
Not really, not too much, but the mentor apprentice, we're still meeting once a week because all them 5 people that were involved, they don't want to lose it. They want to continue, and hopefully that BC Métis Federation will come in next fall. But we're meeting once a week.
Yeah. Well, that speaks to that. And Roseanne, have you spent any time on the app at all?
I unfortunately haven't had an opportunity, but I have downloaded it and I have told my grandchildren about it. So I know they're looking at downloading it if they haven't already.
Yeah, it's free for everyone. Just so everyone knows, it's free. And I just love technology, right? I've got my phone in my hand. Oh, it's got my Learn Michif app. If I don't know, I just pull it up and I try and meander my way through how do I say this, because I know my grandparents spoke the language and I always fumble the words, but I just want to say thanks to your team, Renee. I know that Jeannie has done a lot of work on the back end with Craig and our team to help make this reality. But anyways, I don't mean to go on and on about it. I just love seeing that technology used to help share a traditional language. It's very important for us in the survival of this language. So it's excellent. And thanks again. Finally, on our website, on the Machif French newsletter, it's now available, the Spring 2025 newsletter. If you've been on our website, you can find it in the news section. You go through the news stories. If you go back on all the news, it's been posted about 2-3 weeks ago, I guess it is. And Machif French newsletter. Check it. Talks about the app. Gives a bit more about some of the spring Machif French children's activities. Obviously, we just went through Easter. That was poised for Easter. And there's some welcoming the hidden language connections, right? Helping people understand the importance in the dialect and I guess the application of how our language evolved over time and how to some of the context of it. So I just think it's great, and I just encourage people to to spend that time on that. That was a lot of stories in a very short period of time, and I just hope people go download the app. I hope they go look at the newsletter. I do hope that they have a look at these things, and obviously we'll be sharing more information in person with some of our leadership this weekend, which I'll end at the end. But why don't we cut to another song, if that's okay, with the band? I know people would rather hear that than me blabbering about things all the time. So what are you going to play for us next, Renee?
I'm going to change keys here. I'm going to go to Sunshine Two-Step on G.
Well, that picked up the energy for the show for me, that's for sure. Can't jig, but I can pretend I can jig in my seat. That's okay. So, anyways, thanks you guys. That was great. I'm just gonna, I appreciate always the energy you guys bring. It's a wonderful song, and I don't know, Roseanne, are you jigging over there in the behind the scenes?
She's asleep.
Well, that's not very good. That's not helpful to what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, my feet are tapping.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, at least lie. At least tell me a good story about it. Tell you get up and you're jigging and couldn't keep yours. I honestly, I love that music so much. It just reminds me of my childhood memories so much. But anyways, I'll get off that. There are a number of other things I do want to share with you. I know that we have some colleagues online tonight, and I just want to say I'm so thankful. Just a bit about our conservation department. We've been, let's be honest, the summer's starting. It's already heating up here in the Lower Mainland. British Columbia has a natural challenge with forest fires, as it's had for the last few years. Our conservation team has done a lot of work, as many of us know, whether it's beach cleanups or just providing, awareness programs or conservation style programs, whether it's on the water or on the land, and not asserting territorial control, but just teaching our helping our people understand, better behaviors on land and water. One of the things we've been working on is the wildfire protection kits. This is around helping individuals with homes set up, like basically I was the way I heard it described by a fire chief when we were in Clearwater recently is sort of like a humidity dome, right? You have the water. It's a sort of a sprinkler system that you can attach around the house. Individually, these cost $200 to $300. But what we've been doing is we've been helping raise funds to help with donations, and our team led by Angel Fisher and Zia Yazdani, they've been doing a lot of work to create the programs to get this investments so we can purchase these wildfire protection kits and provide it to our communities. Many of us may not realize this, but one of the highest risk communities this summer is Clearwater. And of course, we have a partner community, and their president, Cindy Wilgosh, is obviously very concerned about the impact of maybe some of the local members of the North Thompson Aboriginal Cultural Society and the Métis members there. So, it was such a pleasure to have our team raise the money, buy a number of these kits, and we donated 30 of these kits, I believe, in Clearwater, and now another, high impact area, because we had members that lost homes during the wildfires in Kelowna a few years ago. We were also providing a number of kits to the Métis Association of Central Okanagan, because we do expect potentially some more, a pretty significant wildfire season. So I just want to say, on behalf of our BC Métis Federation conservation team, we're trying to do what we can to provide support to the members. Sometimes it's monetary, sometimes it's purchasing kits, and these are not the full-on industrial ones, but these are the easy to set up home ones you can see in the picture here. And I just really felt that was a very important support for us. And I'm really proud of the team and what we did to support support the inclusion of that for those two particular communities. Now, we are doing other work around wildfire, sort of like, research and getting prepared. We are very worried, and we're working with, the government of Canada on, should there be a difficult season, will there be other things that we can be doing? So we'll continue to raise that. I don't have that answer right now, but I can assure you all that our team is working to provide that support where we can. A little bit more on that note with our conservation team. It's also, we received the Ocean Week Canada grant for shore cleanups. So we will be working on, so basically you can see on here, Ocean Week Canada, congratulations to the Ocean Week Canada 2025 Community Event Grant recipients for shore cleanups. So we will be continuing to work on shoreline cleanups. We will be organizing that with partner communities. And so, yeah, I just am excited to see our team get out there. I say this was such an interesting event because when our team started talking about these conservation activities, even here in Vancouver, we've talked about on Coffee Talk some time ago. I personally didn't realize there'd be so much uptake by our community members and people and our partners. Our last cleanup was here in I think it was in English Bay or I can't remember if it's English Bay or another part of the Lower Mainland here, but there was like just about 500 people out. I mean, it is really something people feel passionate about. And so I'm just glad to see our team working to find innovative ways to maintain these activities and programs. Again, thanks to Angel and the team and the work they're doing there. I'm just very thankful, and I hope people see whether it's shoreline cleanups or helping our members try and deal with potential wildfires. We saw what happened in Jasper. We can't ignore the environmental challenges wildfires creates. And so if a wildfire does go through places like Clearwater, we just want to make sure we've provided support in the best way we can to prevent as minimal damage as possible, if nothing else. So I think these are very important pieces to that. I'm just going to quickly skip ahead to a couple of quick things, and then I'm giving the band a heads up. I'm going to come back to you in about a minute or two for another song. But so just get your song ready. I'll be jumping back to you very shortly. But I also want to thank our Director of Research, Mr. Joe Desjardins. We released and it's on the website again, a Northwest Métis Knowledge Partnership Project Report. It's an update of information, the research through our partner communities, that community-led research piece. Joe and the researchers I know have done a lot of work, and so we're continuing to update that. Why is that so important? Well, obviously about education. I know many of you have been to our website, métisandbc.ca. I think I said that right, .ca.com, sorry. Anyways, but this is also helping us prepare for our ongoing litigation with Canada, right? Around, around just preparing ourselves for that court case, which is advancing in May. So, we will continue to update members on that, and we have much more expectations that I can share with you in the next month or so about that court case. But anyways, thanks to our research team. They're doing a great job. If you want to see the full report, it's on our website at bcmétis.com. You can look in the news section, you can get a link to it. And if you want to look at some of the research that's materializing, it's métisandbc.ca. All right. Okay. Before I go into actually, I'll just finish this one. I want to thank. We had several members contribute to our Métis input on NRCan's proposed Indigenous Ministerial Arrangements regulation. This is very NRCan is leading a whole process in consultation and under the duty to consult, et cetera, et cetera. And they're talking about changes to the legislative process under the things with the Canadian Energy Regulator and the Act and the benefits and all that stuff. So we did provide a response to the proposed ministerial arrangements regulations. We held a series of ongoing online calls. We checked in with folks, and we've now posted the report. I encourage members, if you want to understand when we talk about consultation, this is another really good document. It's a simple document to read, and you can get some insight into that. So, I'll just stop under that particular story and come back to the band. I know that's a bit of not as exciting stuff as good old Métis music, but why don't we cut back to the band? What are you going to play for us next?
I'm going to play one that's called Sonny's Two-Step, and it's written by Ryan Kipling.
Thanks so much, Renee and band. I really appreciate that. Again, another great song with, can I just ask, when every show you I know I see you're reading your notes of songs. Is there certain ones you just like to choose? Like there's so many different songs to choose from. What's the process you guys go through when you decide a series of songs?
It's up to Rennie. What Rennie says, we play.
I try not to play the same song too often. I try to change it at least every 3 months or something.
Yeah.
4 months. Or
He's
something.
got lots in his repertoire.
Yeah, I got it. But they're starting to get harder to think about now. I got it, and 2 seconds later it's gone, and then I'll get it tomorrow.
Well, don't take that personally, Renee. That happens to me on a daily basis with everything in my life. So it's not just you, I can assure you that. But yeah, no, I appreciate the work you guys do. It's always, it's funny because you always seem to choose different songs every so often. I always wonder, I don't know how many songs you have in your head, but it must be a lot because I don't know.
Not many, no, about 200, I think.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, to me, that seems like a lot. I don't know. From a non-musician, let me tell you, I can barely remember what I did last week. Never mind 200 songs going through my head and the different melodies and keys and everything else. Right. So Anyways, I won't bore everyone with the lack of my musical talent, but it's it's very real. But thanks you guys for again another great song for you. I'm just gonna go back quickly. I want to move us along. Just a couple things I want to try and share with members tonight. Along with the consultation, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this. There's another report to the Canadian Energy Regulator that is available on the website. I won't get into too much of this, but what I just want to say to our members is that if you're really interested in like people say you're consulted, you want to know why, and some members they feel like they need to know get more information. These reports are there now. This is another one where we've done some regulatory work on a project. If you really want to understand, this is around the onshore pipeline regulations. It's a very complicated process, and there's a lot of legal sort of things. And you can go to Canadian Energy Regulator website and you can look at filings and all these things. And so we've been trying to do our best we had 4 sessions in this case. We presented information. We worked with CER and other partners to help provide information. And it's not super exciting work, but it's very, very important. So I hope people, if you really want to get into this and understand the process, by all means, it's on our website. It's fully there for you, and I would encourage you to take a look at it. We feel strongly at the Federation. We want to call for more unity amongst Métis across the country. I know many people are online debating the merits of the Métis in Ontario. There was a report that came out from an MNC expert panel, really citing that the Métis in Ontario do meet the test and there's a process. And I've heard different people now try to reinterpret what happened here. And I don't know the whole details, but what we're saying at the Federation, even here in BC, it's kind of ironic we're saying this because we've got Métis Nation BC who doesn't, chooses to still continue to pretend we don't exist. And that's fine. That's their loss. We're just carrying on. But we do really need to think about unity amongst the country, amongst all of us at some point. And I think that is another example of the MNC expert panel. And I see that, with all due respect to the Manitoba Métis Federation, I'm not trying to fight with them, but I just think it's priceless to see their leadership and individuals from the MMF, continuing to go out of their way to stick their nose in Ontario business and continuing to tell people those aren't really Métis people over there. When that, because I bring us all back, I've been around long enough that I remember when the Pauli case was won at the Supreme Court in 2003. I saw some of these very leaders with their arms in the air, screaming and crying, and they were part of the process. And I just don't understand how we can allow this division and this challenge amongst all of us. I don't know all the Métis communities. I've said this many times. We're not all homogenous. In Saskatchewan, where my family was from, around Prince Albert, and I've shared my story around Batoche. We're not the same Métis people that is up northern Saskatchewan, but I respect there are Métis communities. There's Métis people in Buffalo Narrows, à la Crosse, La Loche, Cumberland House. They spoke more of a Michif Cree. We spoke Michif French. We were not the same community, and they weren't down in Batoche when the Northwest resistance was fought in 1885. So I've always felt that we got to stop telling each other that there's only one homogenous Métis people. There has to be separate and distinct mixed blood communities that practice language, culture, but we have to respect the space of allowing people to prove their identities and if necessary, and allow that we're not, and understand we're not all homogenous. So I'll get off that, but I really, this was an important message that I want people to hear from us directly, and we work our way through it. I just want us to hope we can get to a place where we can find more unity amongst all of us. Carrying on with some other things, I want to we've posted on the bcmétis.com website. North Thompson, they've got their April newsletter out. It's basically, they have Métis Monday Senior Grocery Bingo and more updates. So, thanks to, again, their president, Cindy Wilgosh, and the community and the leadership there for the work they're doing to continue to just keep their local members informed. That's a great example of what we like to see at the Federation with our partner communities, getting that information out. Doesn't have to be super expensive to do, but it's great to have that communication getting out on a regular basis to the grassroots members. And that's why we share it, because it's information. 99% of our conflict in our communities because of misunderstanding and lack of communication. So we love to see that at the local level. I just want to touch on a couple events that recap. Finding your voice anti-bullying workshop. I want to say thank you to the Peace Region Métis Community Association. This was some snapshots that so the event they had recently with our partner community from Fort St. John. To Jocelyn and the team, thank you for your work to deal with particularly anti-bullying for youth. And you can see a handful of youth and some parents in the picture. These are things that, we live at a time when this stuff is very becoming more and more of a challenge in some communities. And so we will continue to share information about these workshops when they happen with one of our partner communities. But thank you again, Jocelyn, for the work you guys are doing. I spoke about this earlier in the show, but this is just some photos from the recap. That's the wildfire protection kits, a snapshot. Those are the number of the kits we dropped off with our partner community in Clearwater. The gentleman in the picture was the local fire chief. I was so thankful he was there. He gave us a quick 101 of how the sprinklers worked, because although they look simple to put together, there is a bit of an important process and an understanding of how to do it. So he was very happy to stand up and teach us all very quickly. So it was great. You can see Angel and Z in the picture, and I just want to say it was a really, really powerful day to see us. There was about 25 or so individuals there, partners, local members, and it was just, thank you again to our conservation team for getting the donations to contribute to that. So 30 kits at $200 to $300, you're talking, it's not an insignificant number that we've invested to help support at least 30 or so families. And I know that they're working through the process in Clearwater to hand the kits out. Now, some of the upcoming events I just want to quickly touch on. The tea event happening April 26th. That's in Kelowna with our partners, the Métis Association of Central Okanagan. That's from 2 to 4. So that'll be at the Robert Hobson's Environmental Education Center for the Okanagan. I encourage Métis individuals looking for a community event up in the Okanagan the Kelowna area. They're having this tea event, and you can reach out to the Métis Association of Central Okanagan. We've got that event on our events page on our bcmétis.com website as well, if you want to have more detailed information. As well, the Fairy Garden Workshop on Thursday, May 1st in Fort St. John. That's being hosted by partner community, Peace Region Métis Community Association again. So congratulations, and I look forward to hearing the outcome of what that event was from 3:30 till 5 p.m. in Fort St. John. So Métis members and friends up in that area, please hope you get a hold of Peace Region. Again, this event is also featured with more details on our website at bcmétis.com. Go to the events section and you'll find this event there as well. On May 3rd, our conservation team is hosting an event in Kelowna in supporting in addition to the tea event, but it's Wonders of the Water, a hands-on adventure. So it'll be again around that Mission Creek Regional Park in Kelowna, and it'll be 10 till 2 will be this event, and then there's the tea event which follows up after. But there's some learning stations. Participate in a kokanee salmon fry release. It's free, drop-in event for all ages, and all these events are free. So just again, if you're looking to kind of learn more about the kokanee salmon fry and see how they get released into the waterway, be a pretty fun event for families, of course, young, especially with kids, want to learn about this kind of conservation work and what it takes to keep these population of kokanee salmon healthy and in good stock. So again, thank you to the work of the conservation team for that. On Friday, May 9th, from 12 till 4 in the afternoon at Fort St. John, they've got a babysitting foundations event. This is all around helping individuals, I guess, get the necessary skills around proper babysitting. So it's an event hosted by the Peace Region Métis Community Association on Friday, May 9th from 12 till 4 at Fort St. John. Reach out to the organization. And again, it's on our events website, events page of our bcmétis.com website. And just a couple more events. We have a fly tying workshop. And I know our friend Rick will be, I'm sure, a big part of this at the Métis Association of Central Okanagan on Saturday, May 10th. We know we've got some Métis fishermen up there that love to just share their skills. So they're doing, a fly tying workshop. My eyes are far too bad to do fly tying, but I always find that fascinating. I'm not a fly fisherman. I've tried it once and I was terrible at it. Couldn't barely even figure out how to cast a fly. But anyways, if you're interested in that event, go to the events section on our website, or you can contact Métis Association of Central Okanagan as well. Another event coming up on Friday, May 30th is the Medicine Walk and Talk. And it'll be hosted by Art Napoleon. He's quite a well-known Indigenous media person, particularly on APTN. He does APTN's Moose Meat and Marmalade. So he's leading a Medicine Walk and Talk event on Friday, May 30th from 8:30 till 8:30 in the morning till 8:30 at night, the full day. And you just get a hold of the Peace Region Métis Association, Community Association, or again, on our events page of our website at bcmétis.com. Look to the events section. So I'm going to stop there for a quick second before I do the last portion of the information. Band, can we get another song from you?
Yes, I'll play. It's called Stolman's Jig by Andy DeJarlis. I haven't played that for a while.
Well, great job, you guys. Another wonderful song. Thank you for sharing that. Another great song for folks to listen. Andy Desjardins. I always say Desjardins. I'm used to saying it Desjardins, but tomato. I don't know how he prefers is what I'm saying for sure. I'll believe you because you know better than I do. But thank you for the wonderful music. I just got a couple small items, then we're gonna come back to you guys. So don't get too comfortable. I'll be back with you very shortly. I've just a couple last minute items I want to share with folks before we call it a show. I brought up on the screen right before the song break. So I want to remind people that we've continued to post job opportunities. I've spoken about this many times. We've created the platform at bcmétis.work, and we continue to feature employment opportunities. So if you're looking for a job, we have a team that's continuing to update, remove the old postings. It's always a bit of a process sometimes, but we continue to provide that free of. That's another service in kind for our members and those people looking for that. So please reach out and take a look at these are some of the featured jobs. Sales accountant, journeyman carpenter, environmental coordinator, assistant project manager, etc. So just take a look at bcmétis.work. You can reach it through our website, or you can just go directly to bcmétis.work. Okay. I just continue. We want to continue to build our YouTube subscribers, and Métis Coffee Talk is featured on the BC Métis YouTube channel. So look for at BC Métis, and you can certainly you can watch Métis Coffee Talk. The recorded shows there live or recorded after, and of course it's on our BC Métis Federation Facebook page, which we know a lot of you are fully aware of already. But don't forget, we've got our YouTube channel. We'd really appreciate you, everyone continuing to subscribe to that particular channel. And as I've been saying the last few shows, we're on Spotify. We've got Métis Coffee Talk on Spotify, and I just hope people, if they want to listen just to the audio recording, this gets posted there as well. And we certainly encourage you to think about joining that Spotify platform. Now, just a couple last minute things before I ask our band to wind up the show, and I maybe finish with a couple just quick questions for them. This weekend we have another important meeting just to make sure our members are fully aware. We are continuing to organize, in terms of good governance, I guess if I can say it that way. We're organizing, helping our partner communities have a good understanding of what's happening within the federation itself. And so this weekend, we've invited our group of our partner community leadership, our provincial board, and of course, a number of our management members. And we're having what's called a provincial information session. We are engaged, and just an FYI to everyone, MCFD is engaged with us officially starting this weekend. There's a Métis Nation engagement, they're calling it, around some legislative proposed changes under the provincial legislation. So we're going to be seeking some initial discussions and with the MCFD representatives. It'll be here at our Vancouver office. And so we're just, it's just open to our leadership and our partner community leaders. So that's a very, very important consultation piece we'll be working on. We'll be giving a lot of update on some of the tools we saw tonight on culture and language, and helping our partner communities continue to learn how to use those tools. And understand the app and the things like we've got a Michif French digital pen development with resources. So our team member Jeannie Cardinal will be giving that update. We'll be engaging with some additional type 2 diabetes community survey work in the coming months. Conservation Department I've touched on a lot. We've updated our membership process. It'll be integrated and all online. We're moving to a paperless process. So that'll be quite exciting for us in terms of technology, and we'll have our team walk through that. And then we've got quite a bit of research update on the Pacific Northwest research piece. I know that some of you have been following. There's some other legal updates to share that I will share. Some it's just in confidence. I will not speak about it publicly. But the BC Human Rights Tribunal update, most people aren't fully aware. That was regarding, we had a complaint against particularly Indigenous organization that was having some very difficult motions and resolutions against the Métis people of BC, and specifically MNBC and the Federation. We took strong stance on that, and I just want to continue to let people know that the Human Rights Tribunal did accept our case, and we've decided to advance that case. And so we are going to continue to prepare and just make sure our community leaders are advised. And then we're going to finish up with some other industry updates, and there's some other new business. So there's a lot of work going on, and I just want to let the members know watching tonight or watching after that we're trying to do our best to make sure that we advise the partner community leaders, empower them, help them communicate it, and hopefully learn a little bit more. So that's just one final piece. So team, what's our last song of the evening going to be?
Okay, I'm going to slow it down. Change the tempo. It's called Sierra Swing.
Thanks again, guys. Another great evening. Thank you so much for being here. I really want you the three of you to know how much we appreciate this cultural contribution. The music is always what that's the essence of, to me, is essence of our Métis culture. The fiddle music, the the different songs you've played. I just want to say thank you, all three of you, for being here tonight. It's really meant that it just makes the show different for me too. So thank you for being here. Okay. Any final words, Renee or Sean or Helen, for the evening?
Well, it's nice to be back again to play with Sean and of course with Helen giving us a hand. And now hopefully maybe next week or next month, maybe Mike will be back. But still, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for
Oh,
helping.
you're welcome anytime.
Helen, I just think you got a one-show contract. I guess that's all you got. No,
That's
thank
okay.
you.
I'll send the bill later.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for being here. I honestly
welcome,
really
dear.
appreciate it. Thank you, Roseanne. I know the voice of God is in the background, so thank you, Roseanne.
Can't do without her.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, well, I know we'll see some of you this weekend for the provincial meeting and then the board meeting. I want to say how much we appreciate everyone's contributions today. And I'm just going to end with the show saying, we look forward to continuing to build that awareness, the education, and just get out on Monday, get out to vote in the federal election. It's very important. And don't complain if you don't vote. As I've told many people that want to argue about politics, hey, we can all have our perspective and views, but if you don't get out and vote, you can't complain. So anyways, I want to say thank you for being with me tonight. My name's Keith Henry. I'm the president of the BC Métis Federation, and I look forward to updating you in May with several new updates. So have a good evening, everyone.